The sky is gray and the clouds are hanging low, but that's not how my heart feels. It's bright and sunny, and I can't wait to get to Shell Island with Captain Ryan. Shell Island is located just south of Cape Romano in the 10,000 Islands and only open 6 months out of the year, being closed the other months for nesting shorebirds and sea turtles during their breeding season. I saw lots of live pen shells, which is so refreshing to the usual ones I see washed up after storms. Stunning colors, fun shells, live shells, and admiring special treasures others found are some of the shells waiting for us. Welcome to Florida Beach Walks. I'm Roxanne. Let's go shelling with Captain Ryan with Everwater Charters and Tours. So nice to be back on Shell Island. I was looking back and I was like, wow, has it really been a year with Connor since I've been here? But yeah, I guess it's been that long. My goodness, where does the time go? And I absolutely love coming out with Everwater Charters and Tours. If you have not booked a tour to the 10Ks with them, I highly suggest it. It's absolutely amazing and you won't regret it. Summer tours to the Keys with Captain Jason are available now and filling up fast, shared and private tours. My first Summer Keys tour last year was nothing short of amazing, and I can't wait for this summer again. If you want to experience that too, be sure to book now. Right off walking out, I noticed these pen shells peeking out, and it's so neat to see them alive, and they do live buried like that, only the top portion of them sticking out of the sand. So this whole area here was just full of them, and pen shells belong to the family Penidae, and they are filter feeders, using their gills to consume plankton and microscopic organic particles in the water. They do play their role in helping and purify marine waters. So to see them buried with only the little bit peeking up, this is about half of the shell was peeking up, and some of them were just so tucked in the sand, and that's how they live. Here's a little lightning whelk, a little juvenile one. Pretty muddy area. I'm on the east side of the island starting this walk. Here's an apple murex, a little bit pitted, so I'll probably leave this one behind. So yes, the east side of the island, you can see how far the tide goes out. It's just wow when you really look out and see how far the tide drops. Here's a couple of worm shells. So because I just don't think there's a lot of like shell rotation around here. You can see a lot of these shells just seem like they've been sitting here for a little while. Another lightning whelk. You see how they're just, they're just older, a lot of older shells on this east side. But these nice bright ones like this, another lightning whelk, just really pop against all the older shells. I'm walking to the south end of the island where Captain Ryan said more of the newer, fresher shell wash-ups are on that side. And that's pretty much was the case last time I was here last year. So just this east side, just a little older shells, but I did want to stop and see what's available. Got an alphabet, a nutmeg, and another whelk. Let's see what that one is. A banded tulip. That's a pretty nice one. And a Hermie. He's got an old shell, but he seems quite content in that shell. There, oh, there's another one. A lot of hermit crabs on this side. They got lots of shells to choose from. Gorgeous orange color on this calico scallop. Oh my goodness, I just love these orange shells. And here's another one, and I know I've gotten a lot of messages to see if I have these orange shells available in my Etsy shop like I did previously, but as I collect them, then I will list them, because these orange ones are kind of hard to come by. There's a bay scallop, and here's a juvenile fighting conch. Let's see, another lightning whelk. Okay, been finding a lot of these juvenile ones. And another bay scallop, but check out the ribs on this one. Oh, I love that. Little bit thicker ribs on that. Gorgeous. And this one is a rough scallop. gorgeous color, and I just love how rough those are. Another orange calico, and I will collect the calicos oranges even if they don't have their hinge wings. A fighting conch. That color was so hard to miss against all of the gray. This is a southern horse mussel. Checking out the back because, okay, one of them looked like it was alive and one hinge wing was empty, but check, the color is just so beautiful. Oh, I wanted to collect the whole mussel, but we have one live critter on there and one not, so I did split it, but unfortunately, yeah, I held the one that was empty, but unfortunately, you know, once it dried out and cleaned, it's kind of like white, so it lost all its beautiful colors. So I did take some pictures while I was filming that, and I will just admire it off there. That was an angel wing, but a little too far gone. We'll come across some other ones shortly. Here's a white Atlantic simile, and I just think the insides are just so sprinkled. I don't know, thinking Easter eggs. Delicate, beautiful shell. And here's a hinged broad rib cardita. Still has a little bit of that dark periostracum. Now here's a sand collar. This is so cool. This is made by a moon snail. Moons lay eggs in a mucus capsule that surrounds their round bodies mixed with sand, and it leaves this as a result, these sand collars, and they're full of eggs. Now once the eggs do hatch and swim away, the sand collar does break down. So when you see those are not plastic trash that they often mimic. That egg casing we just saw was from a lightning whelk. This big mama right here. Yep, just want to put my hand down there so you can see the size. Won't mess with her, but this is her casing, and these can take a few days all the way up to a week for the whelk to make. And you can see the little eggs in there, and they're nice and full, got their liquid. I can't wait to one day perhaps see this in action, to see the lightning whelk actually start to produce that long string of casings. Would just be so cool. At shell shows, I've seen some beautiful photography of that in progress. So lots of these tucked in the sand. Here's one just scooting along. Gorgeous color. The spikes, lightning whelk, just perfect name. Perfect common name for that species. Got a nutmeg and a jingle, an orange jingle. I found lots of bright orange jingles on this island out today, and there's a sunray Venus clam. Yay! Love seeing spots on these alphabet cones. All right, now I would love to have seen some brown spots on a Junonia, but there's some Junonias coming up that another guest found. And here is a top shell, a Jujube, nice crisp edge on the bottom. I often on the East Coast find the sculpture top snails a little bit more rounded on that bottom. Here is a juvenile gaudy nautica. On the East Coast, our version of those are the Florida nauticas. Here's another bay scallop and an apple murex, but yeah, not gonna collect that one. Here's a juvenile banded tulip. Lost a little bit of its color. Oh, and this one did not lose any color. That gorgeous orange simile and the sprinkled pink similes. Couple of those. More egg casings of this. These are of banded tulips hanging on to that lightning whelk. It is just so fun to see casings, like egg casings on the West Coast, something I do not see very often on the East Coast. I see lightning whelks, and I have run into a few tulip casings, but man, it's really cool to see so many here. Here's a Jasper Cone. Gorgeous coloring on this little guy. And Absolutely. Bring on the orange. This is a little juvenile horse conch. Love that. I did run into one that I didn't film that had a hermit crab in it, so I was like, yay, no hermit crabs in that one. Here is a live banded tulip. The egg casing to that one that was sticking on that lightning whelk just a moment ago. And a Chalky Lucine. Love these bulbous shells. Awesome craft shells for their circular and bold shape for my flowers, my shell flowers. And these also, the buttercups. Sometimes they're just so yellow. They can look yellow even on the outside too. Getting a little bit closer to the back end, the south end of the island. And this island is not very large at all. You could circle it in not too much time if you weren't stopping to look at shells. Here's an apple murex. Go and collect that one. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, another gaudy nautica. And a lightning whelk. Yeah. Did pick up a few of those. And another white Atlantic simile. Nice hinged one. See, we got another. Oh, that's really pretty. Oh, I just love it. These, when they're like sharp and flaky. Just pretty. And here is another juvenile horse conch. Here's a crown conch, also known as a king's crown. I like that, king's crown. And here's the lace murex, but we'll leave that one. Let's see. Ooh, another lightning whelk. That's a cutie. Yay! And another little juvenile horse conch. Awesome. Just the volume of shells on this island is literally mind-blowing. And I'm sorry, I love my East Coast, but let me tell you, you just don't find shells in this quantity over there. And just to see it all, even if they're like, you know, not collectible ones, it's just crazy, just absolutely crazy. It's a juvenile fighter and another Chalky Lucine, and here's a more mature fighting conch and a banded tulip. So yes, Shell Island. This island has definitely earned its name. All right. And the alphabet cone, and that's a little bit of a freak one. I didn't notice it when I picked it up at first, but when I was cleaning it, I was like, wait a minute. Its juvenile bits are kind of sticking up a little out of that. I'll show you at the end a little more of a close-up. There's another nice nutmeg. Look at this, just shells. Golly. Just shells everywhere. Okay, so I'm on the back end now. There was a little bit of a split. Here's a live horse conch. Yeah. Kind of tell that one might have been alive. I was like, there's no way anyone's going to leave that there if that was empty. So we're at the back end, and I was like, do I cross the cut over there or not? Last time I was here, they didn't have this weird little cut thing. Things change all the time out here. Another horse conch. Yay. So I'm on Shell Island, and there's like, you know, kind of the water and then another little sandbar way out there. And I did cross it. It wasn't too bad. Here's a bay scallop and an angel wing and another angel wing. So cool to find a couple angels to collect. So this is the back end. So you can see there's more like of a fresh wash up rather than the mossier shells we are looking at on the east side. So lots of fresh wash ups back here. Here's a pear whelk. All right, and another gaudy nautica. This is a pretty good size, and it's a little rough shape, but I'll hold on to it. I do like cleaning those and polyurethaning them with gloss and just to restore them. A lot of hinged cockles that I found out here as well, and I did save a few of them. I just think they're so cool. Little heart cockles. So, okay, I did cross over. So here's that little sandbar, and it wasn't, I mean, I didn't even get up to my knees, so it wasn't very deep at all. And another lady from another tour did find a Genonia out here when I was crossing back. I was like, awesome. And here's another Jujube, a little live one on this pin. See, that's how I usually see the pins. So seeing them live like that at the beginning was just awesome. And here's another one. These critters are so cool to encounter alive. I think that's one of the best things I do love about coming over to the West Coast is to see all the live critters. All right, another pretty decent size Nautica, also called a colorful moon snail. A couple of those. Let's see. What's the pins? What are hiding under the pin shells? Lots of fun treasures I have found in the past under these pins. Here's a green mussel. They are invasive, but this one is really pretty. Hold on to that one. Oh, and a gorgeous pear whelk. The other one, not so colorful, but that one's really dark and pretty. Here's a lightning whelk. Yay! Really pretty size and color on that one. Gorgeous. I think, yes, that was the largest one I did find on this trip. And here is an olive. Very exaggerated spire swirl on that one. And another banded tulip. Here's a fighting conch. And yep, I love the repaired shells. Looks like it went through a little bit of a battle. And here's another Chalky Lucine. Great finds on these out today. Here's another rolling around banded tulip. Collect that one. The south end of the island here, headed towards the west side, but I didn't travel back to the boat on the west side. I did just hang around back to the east, all the way back to the boat. And here's a fighting conch. I will collect it for the pattern, even though it is a little rough. Yay! And another juvenile horse conch. Isn't that just so pretty on these similes? Golly, they're just gorgeous. And I did collect a nice hinged ones. Pretty worm. And here's a Florida cone. And that one cleaned up. Pretty nice. Here's another hinged beauty on this yellow prickly cockle, little juvenile guy. Just pretty. Pretty yellow. And here is a Florida prickly cockle, a little different from the yellow prickly cockle. Got a couple hinged pairs of those. And another dark lightning whelk, chocolate one. Let's see, another pin. A Fargo worm snail, or also called West Indian worm. Let's see, a broad rib cardita. I did pick up the hinged ones, but I picked up a few loose ones that have the dark colors. Here's a paper fig and another alphabet cone. Did you catch that? I don't know what happened. I must have hit stop by accident. Here's another broad rib cardita, really dark, gorgeous one. On that, I really like it when they're dark, and the red ones are pretty too. So I did scrape along the top just for a little bit. Didn't do too much digging on this outing. Here's another hinged giant Atlantic cockle. And it's really dark, but this is a really pretty good shape. Rough scallop, and that lightened up pretty good with 6% hydrogen peroxide. Here's a little tiny true tulip. And another paper fig. The ones I found today are just this regular color form, but sometimes you can find those real speckled and just really, really pretty. Here's a live banded tulip. The live mollusk always has such vibrant, pretty shell colors when they're live. Here's another apple murex to collect. It's a nice sized murex. So I ran across a few of these on my East Coast side of Florida, but not this size. These are mud heart urchins, and this one was really thick. I couldn't even break it when I was trying to squeeze it. The ones I found on my coast, is you pick them up and they just crumble. They're so small and thin. Pretty neat urchin. Here's another fighting conch. I'll collect a few of those, and a bay scallop. This is the deeper valve of the bay scallop. The other side is usually the colorful side. Some more jingles. I have made jingle flowers. I shared those before, and I found lots of these orange ones, so that was fun. Here's another little true tulip. True tulips also have the banding like the banded tulips, but they're a little bit more thin and faded on the trues. Another good-sized chocolate lightning whelk, not as large as the other one, but that one had some neat barnacles stuck to it. Here's a really pretty coloring of this Sunray Venus clam. A little peach inside there. Let's see, we got a lace murex. A little broken, but I'll hold on to it. And some barnacles. I did find this one in another barnacle cluster. I'm just saving up my barnacles because I want to do something kind of nice with them. And I'll hold on to this barnacleized shell as well. Another alphabet cone. Okay, it started the fossilization process, but I will hold on to that one. And some crossbarred Venus clams, very ordinary shell with extraordinary insides, just beautiful yellow like this, and also deep purple they can be found in. Here's a turkey wing, a little rough shape, but hey, it's the only turkey wing I found on this beach walk. And this was a purple lip fighting conch, very dark purple, and yes, very stiff critter, and it stunk. So I knew it was a goner. When I got on the boat, I tugged on it because it started dripping in my bucket, and it just slipped right on out. It's been a fantastic morning out on Shell Island with Captain Ryan. Beautiful shells, and other guests found fantastic shells too.
Where'd you find it?
Right there, outside, where you pointed to the...
turn around, let it look pretty. You see all of it. That's cool. That's really defined. Awesome. It was just like, oh, I found a little piece of Junonia. I'm like, no, you found
So was it in the water or in the sand?
Well, he pointed out one, and where was that? Like in the shell bed. The other one was,
this corner, yeah.
and then the other one was on the island. I started walking into the water, and I found it. And I thought it was it, and it was like that.
Just
and I thought,
like
oh
that.
man, I found one, and I flipped it over, and I was like,
That's awesome.
So,
Congratulations, Tanya and Sue. But I did find a Junonia chip. Now, this is after the tour. I did go to Bonita Springs and looked around there, and this was one of the first pieces of shell that I did find, and it was a J, so I did get a whole one, but hey, I got a chip. Yep, so that's the guy that just came on out, but I only went through that just because it did have that deep, rich purple. You can't really see, but in person, you can really see how dark purple it is, and it's just beautiful. Here are the beautiful shells that I collected, as well as that little Junonia chip from after the tour with Everwater Charters and Tours. Beautiful heart-shaped cockles. And here is that purple lip fighting conch. It's so dark, rich purple. It's just really, really pretty. It is in rough shape, the outside of it. So I just cleaned it off and polyurethaned it because it was way past any help from oil. Cones are always fun to find. Here is the tip coming out of that one. That's the juvenile inner whorl, the Freek shell. Lots of fun GB horse kongs. Nice range of colors on those kongs. Got a lot of really nice worms as well, and a flower that I made out of those white similes. I just think they're so pretty and delicately sprinkled. The center I made out of little bubbles. I also got that from Bonita Springs, the bubbles where I got the Junonia piece. Nice tulips and the Gaudy nauticas and this horse mussel. Okay, yeah, it chipped and it just, once they dry, they really lose that rich color when you find them in nature. So I have my pictures to admire on that. Lots of jingle pieces, and I did polyurethane this green mussel as well because that periostracum on the outside will chip off. So I thought the polyurethane could preserve it a little longer. Some apples and some top snails, gorgeous colors on the hinged cockles here, and the vase scallops just really popped as well with their colors. Nice calicos and a couple sunray Venus clam pairs. Couple of angel wings, and a lot of the white Atlantic similes are just so pretty hinged like that. But this orange one is really special with that vibrant color. Just really beautiful bivalve. A few fighting conchs, a turkey wing, some pear whelks, and one paper fig that I did hold on to. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and check out Jason's Florida Keys tours online for this summer. It's a thrilling experience. Until next time, I leave you with this.